Hello and welcome to the very first broadcast of the AOR IGP Manager League. This is a brand new adventure for us and the first ever professional broadcast of an IGP Manager League. So you can imagine we are very excited to kick things off here today for the opening round in Australia. My name is Justin Sutton and I'm the social media guy for IGP Manager. And today I'm joined by one of the best commentators in the world. It's Chris Buxton, aka King Kodiak.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. You, Justin, are far too kind, good sir. It is a great pleasure to be alongside the great Justin himself. This is a brand new adventure for me. I confess I'm a little bit inexperienced when it comes to the IGP Manager side, but this should be very interesting and I really cannot wait.
Yep, we've got 15 managers, all who qualified for their spot in this league. They're going to be racing against Autosport, who is actually starting from last position for today's race, but they are starting on the medium compound tire, so they might be trying a one-stop strategy or something along those lines. So let's go ahead and let's bring up the race now. There we go. We can see it's actually Chandler Saita. I'm not sure on his name pronunciation. I'll have to check on that one in the future. But it is the American Chandler that is starting from pole position. And then Jose Navarro, who was our leading qualifier. He qualified first out of everybody in the qualifying league. He will be starting from second position and the leading Argentinian for this race. So we've got 4 drivers starting from the Super Softs and then 2 drivers on the mediums, and we're away already starting here in Australia, and already we can see changes of position going on. This is at 1.5x speed, and it is a 50% distance race. So we do have 29 laps in store for us. And let's zoom in. You can see obviously very tight at the beginning of this race. But of course, as things progress, we're really going to see a lot of differences as far as the strategy is concerned. We've got 7 different countries being represented in this league, and 5 Argentinians, if you can believe that, Chris.
Yeah, but strong representation from Argentina, and absolutely why not? I was keeping an eye on who's sort of the biggest movers so far. We had a good initial start from Franco, and I apologize for if getting these names incorrect, as I'm sure I'll get a few of them wrong. Franco Insaurrable. It's a good initial start, actually up to 9th now as he's coming through the final few turns. But yes, Sita getting a cracking start then right out there with stunning start on those super soft tires. Over a second quicker than the next down the road, Johan Demier, I beg your pardon, who has had to work their way through the field. Jose Navarro, who was qualified in second, but of course on the slightly harder tire, fallen down to 5th at the moment. But as we love in any kind of racing, there's a lot that can happen, and I'm sure a lot will. But interestingly, the medium starters, Kevin Gonzalez and the Autosport team, haven't fallen very far off the back of the pack at all. So whilst they may be at a bit of a disadvantage now, by no means discount them.
Yeah, absolutely. Although the super soft runners are definitely starting to pull a gap. We can see Jose Navarro, who started on the front row of the grid, already slipping down into 5th position. He is still the leading soft runner, and we don't know fuel levels because there is refueling, of course, in IGP Manager. So a light fuel load can definitely flatter a car's pace. DRS is active now. The detection zone, though, is not until the very end of the lap, so we're not going to see that until right at the end of lap 3, the start of lap 4. But it's looking pretty good for everybody so far. Of course, the compound differences really separating people out. A bit of boost usage there for Jose Navarro, though, actually. That's very early on. Yeah, he's trying to break the DRS. We can see some more boost usage a little bit further back. He's already almost halfway down. Yeah, he's already past halfway when it comes to his boost level. So Jose Navarro, again, he was the leading qualifier. He was the first guy to win a race in the qualifying league and therefore became our first qualifier. And this is a bold strategy here, but it could pay dividends because, of course, he will get the DRS here, whereas Felix Cabanes down in that pink car in the number 6 in 6th position, he's not going to get the DRS. And there it is. There is the DRS for Navarro off of Coleman. And actually, Dibier not picking up the DRS off of our leader Chandler, and Thomas as well not picking up the DRS off of Demier. So we're really getting into the serious part of this race now that DRS is active, now that people are starting to use their boost as well. We can see minor boost usage Oh, and one other thing I can tell for our viewers, Chandler Saita, the leading car at the moment, he may not be actually here for the race because of the time change in America, but nowhere else in the world. He's actually coming home from school on the bus because he's only 15 years old. So he's definitely a talented young guy, but unfortunately I think this might be a bit of a struggle for him just due to that time change for him.
Well, indeed, but looking at who seems to be handling the pressure pretty well, Daniel Thomas has been under pressure from Nicholas Kuhlmann all race long, because that DRS on the fourth place car, not yet able to overhaul that particular position to get him up there. But I'm keeping a very close eye on Jose Navarro. He set the fastest lap last time around. Okay, you can argue that was under boost conditions, but even still, he's on harder tyres, and he managed to get, he got his team's car into the 127s already at this stage. Now, that may be light fuel, though. That could be all kinds of things going on. But those soft tyres, you can't ignore the fact that they are going to be naturally slower. So, and he's able to really keep pace and extend, overhaul the pace of the guys ahead of him. So that is going to be a very interesting strategy. I do wonder whether he's just going to burn himself out too much, but it's really paying off for him. But look at the pack behind. Cabanez, the second Navarro brother, and we've got people coming into the pits already. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Kind of, fourth position. That was Kuhlmann. So that's much earlier than I was expecting. He's on the super soft tyres. I would have thought they'd have gone a bit longer than that, but it's soft tyres. Soft tyres for Nicholas Kuhlmann. We'll see how that strategy plays out. That's a bit of an early one. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, after just five laps of racing, still with 24 laps to go. So, yeah, that is definitely an early stop. I wonder if he is going to go, if he's going to try and do a two-stop and run a 12-lap stint on that set of soft tires. We can only guess as it stands right now, but he has dropped well out of DRS range. That's definitely going to hurt. He could use a bit of boost to try and bring himself back in. And Felix, as well, in fifth position in that pink car, he's using a bit of boost now to close the gap up to Jose. And as you mentioned, Cesar Navarro in sixth position. He is actually Jose's brother. So we do have two brothers from Argentina in this league. And, oh, there we go. The two leading cars are into the pits. Thomas and Saita are into the pits for their first stop. I would presume they're going to have at least a two-stop, stopping this early, though, at the end of lap 6 with 23 laps still to go. So Daniel Thomas remains the only super soft runner still out there. And Felix, I have to say, Felix Cabanez in third position, he's right behind Jose now, and he's got pretty much a full bar of boost as well, too. So it's looking pretty good for him now.
Yeah, John DeCita right the way down there in 14th now because of that stop. That's and he's back on super softs again.
That's a strange one.
That's a very strange one. I'm not convinced that it's going to turn well for our pole sitter, but we will see. Wouldn't be the first time I've made that kind of prediction wrong. Nicolas Presi's on the move, getting a 127.72 last time around, getting the fastest lap of the race. So he's really getting that car pushed on somewhat, right behind Nicholas Carrasco, who is keeping the pressure on, as we saw earlier, Cesar Navarro. A lot of DRS users, of course, down that start finish straight. A lot of people still in very, very short succession of one another. But it's a very interesting one. As John DeCita comes past the Autosport team, of course, the Autosport car on the medium tyres. So that's not a great surprise at this stage. And last time around, again, looking at the fastest lap times, this time it's Jose Navarro again, who is going to be keeping Daniel Thomas in close company. But I imagine the best of those tyres are starting to, if they haven't been and gone, I would imagine those tyres are pretty much dead on Daniel Thomas's car. And Navarro is looking to capitalize on it, and he looks like he's bringing Cabanez with him.
Yeah, it's getting very, very tight in the top three. Less than 1.2 seconds separating all of them as they round their way into the final corner now. And Thomas does come into the pits at the end of that lap to get rid of that set of super soft tires, which means Jose Navarro takes the lead of the race with Cabanez in second and Jose's brother Cesar in third position. and Nicholas Carrasco down in 4th. We do have a lot of managers in this league named Nicholas, so I apologize to our viewers. We have no less than 5 managers who are named Nicholas or some variation thereof, so we're going to do our absolute best to try and keep on top of that, but we do have almost 1/3 of the grid named Nicholas, so getting very, very tight, though, up at the front, even closer and closer, and I have to say, Felix is looking very good. He's got about 75% of his boost bar still remaining as they make their way through turns 11 and 12, coming to the end of lap 9 now. We're just past 1/3 distance in this opening round of the AOR IGP League. And into the penultimate corner they go. Will we see any of the soft runners peel off into the pits? Yes, I believe that's Pressy coming off into the pits. Yes, it is. That's going to drop him right down. DRS for the top 4, though, except for Jose, of course. And nobody's able to get by, but with a bit of boost, Cabanes has done it. And now Jose has his brother right behind him. A bit of boost for Cesar actually puts him up into the lead past Felix. So the other Navarro brother makes the double overtake in Sector 1 and takes the lead of this race. Looking very good, you have to say.
Wow, that was very much out of nowhere, wasn't it? And actually, Jose Navarro's got no boost left at all. So that's going to make his defense very, very difficult. Cabanez actually getting very close to Navarro as well. So the lead isn't done. A little bit of boost usage there from Carrasco. And now we're starting to see boost usage further up front. Cabanez really getting close, very literally under the front wing, or under the rear wing rather, of Navarro. And Cabanez has got it, but there's, as you can literally see, very little in it. And in he comes. So that's why he was pushing so hard. And who's that that's followed? Well, several people coming. That's a lot of people coming into the pits now. As Cesar Navarro has a chance. Actually, the Navarro brothers lead the way now. But Jose doesn't have any boost, and he doesn't have DRS off of his brother either. And again, looking at the lap times, Nicolas Morales is on a charge, getting into the 126s now, gaining 3 seconds, or 2 and a bit seconds indeed, off of Jose ahead. So whatever Nicolas has got for himself, of course, they can get their drivers to push like crazy, which we could well be seeing, maybe seeing a different strategy from the Navarro pair, taking it a bit more conservatively. A 29 lap time from Jose would indicate that he's probably taking a bit easier, but having no boost will certainly not be helping him. And in comes Morales. So if he's pushing that hard, it wouldn't be unreasonable to think he is coming into the pits. The lead Navarro brother, both indeed, the top 3, top 4 have come in. That's Peter Mann that's coming as well from 4th position. So that's going to hand the lead now over to Kevin Gonzalez. So that's our lead medium runner. And that's going to put the Autosport team, the second of the medium starters. He's just been demoted down to 5th, as that's Johan Demeye that's come past. He's on the softer tyres. But Sita, who's come back out on the super soft tyres, now up to 3rd place.
Yeah, he's probably on a 3-stop, I'm going to assume, is our youngest manager. After going on to the super softs after that first stop, we can thankfully show everybody what the tires are looking like up and down the field, so you can see what tire they have currently equipped, what tires they used previously in the race, and how long they've been on their current tires as well too, and that'll give you a good idea. So we can see Autosport obviously been on those mediums since the start of this race, whereas Cesar Navarro, just behind actually in 6th position, is on a brand new set of soft tires. So I have a feeling he's going to be making quick work of the Autosport team. Fazzolari and Chandler Saita are both into the pits, as is Autosport as well. So Kevin Gonzalez remains the only medium runner at the moment. And I have to say, with a 7.5 second gap down to Johan in the white car, it's looking pretty good for Kevin. I think he's probably on for a 1-stop, which should see him come into the pits around lap 14 or 15, but we just don't know what the fuel levels are like, of course, so we can only hypothesize when it comes to that sort of stuff. But yeah, Jose Navarro has dropped right down. He's barely inside the top 10 at this stage, and he's got no boost either, as you mentioned before, Chris.
Yeah, that's going to be a quite a difficult battle for him, I would imagine. And interestingly, Chandler Sita's coming again. So he's done 2 stints on super soft tyres, both 6 laps apiece. Now on the soft tyres, and oh no! Kevin Gonzalez has run out of fuel. Oh, he's made it to the pits though.
He just made it, yep. Which means he played that very well.
Well, yes, you couldn't really have pushed the maths anywhere. He's coming out mediums again, so that he's not looking to come into the pits again. That's absolutely fine. That hands the lead then over to Johan Demier, who's got a 3-second lead over Cesar Navarro. As right behind him, Nicholas Kuhlmann is burning up quite a bit of boost. Doesn't have much left to play with. Cesar has about just under half the tank left to use, should he feel like it. But, yeah, that's Johan Demier now your leader. Quite a few people have led this race. It's always good to see. We only have one medium runner left. That is Daniel Thomas. The Autosport car has come in on soft tyres, but a little bit off the back of the pack. But anything can happen in the remaining half of the race.
Yeah, Autosport could easily run 2 soft stints at the end of this race to kind of close that up. They were looking pretty good, actually, after people came in. They were up as high as 4th just before Chandler got by them after coming out of the pits on those new super softs. But it does seem that Chandler is on the softs now. So again, I know he told me before the race started that he was going to have trouble making it in time for the start. So that strange super soft strategy may have been down to the fact that he just wasn't here. But hopefully he's here now and he's got his stuff figured out. But man, it is very tight in the battle for 6th position. We've got a 3-way battle for 2nd between Cesar Navarro, Nicholas Kuhlmann, and Carrasco as well. And then Morales currently kind of sitting in a bit of a middle zone. But then it's very, very tight in this battle for 6th position, all the way down to Nicholas Pressey, the other American. Interesting fact, the 2 Americans in this league, we've got 2 out of 15 that are American, and they're the 2 youngest managers, interestingly enough, at just 15 and 17 years old, both of them under the age of 18. So Pressey bringing up the rear of this battle for 6th position, and it is very tight. You can see all of those cars picking up the DRS, and crucially, Kevin Gonzalez picking up the DRS as well, too. And he's actually gone on to the softs. I apologize about that. He's gone on to the softs, so it looks like he's probably going to do a 2-stop. He came in at the end of lap 13. Yes, he did, at the end of lap 13. And that would be a tall order to run a 16-lap stint on soft tires. So I think maybe he was getting his long stint out of the way early.
Could well be. And, way to make us feel old, guys. Because it's clearly their fault. They have a clear influence over their age. Of course they do. So, never mind. That's just the words of a bitter old man. No, not at all. It's great to see. It's great to see involvement in league racing, even in this kind of, not in the sort of direct sim related terms that we get a lot of here at Apex Online Racing, but it's great to see involvement of all people at all levels and of all ages. So. Always encouraged, always welcome to see new people getting involved in in league competition in any way, shape, or form. So as the race progresses, then Johan Demier, that lead, I think the lead has dropped a little bit. It's now 2.6. It was over 3 seconds when the last round of pit stops ended. So Cesar Navarro is pressing on and is trying to close that gap now, breaking the DRS to Nicholas Carrasco behind. But Kuhlmann and Morales right behind as well. So that is a pretty close battle going on for them. Interesting, Morales has saved a lot of boost, and that I'm sort of looking through the amount of boost that a lot of people have. Johan up front has a full... he's just coming in the pits, actually. So race leader coming in to get rid of those tyres, along with Kuhlmann. But Demier hasn't used any boost at all, so he's saving that for a big charge towards the end, I would say.
Yep, it certainly seems that way. He's definitely looking strong, I have to say. As you mentioned before, we've had a number of changes of leader, so it's becoming more and more difficult to try and predict who is going to come out where. But Morales there was really coming up to the back of Kuhlmann. It was clear that Morales was the faster of the 2 cars. But then Kuhlmann peeled off into the pits, so Morales not getting that DRS, but also not having to deal with that dirty air from that car ahead. Bit of a gap now spreading out the top 3 as Cesar Navarro, who is the, let me see, he's the younger brother. Cesar Navarro is the younger brother. So Jose, currently in 8th position, Jose Navarro is 39. Whereas Cesar, or his name is also Nicholas, but he goes by Cesar as well too. Cesar Navarro is 33, so they're separated by 6 years are these 2 brothers. But interestingly, they share the same birthday. And also, just so our viewers know, our oldest manager is actually Daniel Thomas, currently running in 6th position, a nice solid position for Daniel at the moment. He's locked in the middle of that fierce battle currently for 4th position. But he's the oldest at 43. So yeah, the ages range from 15 all the way to 43. And I've definitely never seen a league with that kind of spread. Also, just to let our viewers know that all of the managers in this league started with equal drivers. So they were all assigned a driver. The drivers were exactly the same when they were assigned. They were the same height, weight, age, talent. Everything was absolutely identical, but of course, the managers will train those drivers, and the drivers are going to begin to develop as the season goes on. There's a lot of strategy, of course, in deciding what stats to develop, what stats to train on, what to improve on, and what to not improve on. And of course, you have to decide, do I want to work on my car, or do I want to focus on my driver? Do I want to have a healthy mix of the two? So there's a lot of strategy that goes on, obviously, in IGP Manager, and we're going to see a lot of variations because everybody started at level 1. These are all brand new accounts that they started with, and it's brand new drivers that were all level 1 for everything except for talent. There are 20 talent drivers, so the drivers we've got out there on circuit driving for these managers are the best of the best, or rather I should say they will be the best of the best after they've had enough training, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. And also Nicholas Pressey playing with the fuel limit again. He managed to make it to the pits on an empty fuel tank. We've got a few people pushing on now. Cesar Navarro set the fastest lap last time around, but Kevin Gonzalez set the first, the best of Sector 1. Mm-hmm. So there's some interesting strategies going on. Some people really starting to push. And we're in the sort of final part of the race now. Only 7 or so laps to go. A few people in the pits, and Chanticita in the pits again. So didn't make it to the end of the race on those soft tyres. Another set of softs going onto his car. Might have challenged. I wonder if he might have gone for a bit of super softs. But again, if he hasn't made it home for the race, due to obviously his high school commitments, that may be part of the reason for the strange strategy. And Kevin Gonzalez, who was lighting up the timing screens in Sector 1 last time around, now has got the fastest lap under his belt, 1:26.08, gaining nearly a full second on Daniel Thomas. So there's strategy starting to play out. Daniel Thomas on those medium tyres. So our race leader is in as well. So let's see what Cesar is able to do. Is he going to go super softs? And who else has that come in? That's Peter Mann that's come in as well. Several people, a lot of people coming in actually, to fit more tyres and get another splash of fuel on board. That hands the lead back over to Nicholas Morales.
Yep, it does indeed, and that was a long stint for Daniel Thomas, a 13-lap stint on that set of mediums, and he does fit a set of softs, and indeed everybody is now on a set of the softs. So after all of that changing of strategy and tires and everything, they've all come together at the end on a set of soft compound tires. Up at the front, though, it is Morales who leads the way in that yellow car. Kevin Gonzalez in second position. I have to say, Morales, though, has been on this set of tires for 10 laps. Gonzalez has been on this set of tires for 8 laps, and Navarro's been on this set for 10 laps as well, too. As Morales comes into the pits, Gonzalez follows him through, and Jose does as well. So are we going to see these 3 drivers fitting a set of super soft tires right at the end of the race? Now, they're going to be dropping right down into the pack as the other Navarro brother of Cesar takes the lead of this race with Johan Dimier right behind him. And are they coming out? No, it looks like they're actually coming out on soft. So I thought they might gamble for something there, try a 7-lap stint on the super softs, but it appears that is not going to be the case. They are going to stick with the soft compound tires. So it is Cesar Navarro leading the way for Argentina, Johan Dimier for France in second position in that white car, and Nicolas Carrasco in third position as it stands right now, and he is one of our 2 Spanish drivers. So it is Argentina, France, and Spain leading the way right now. But you have to say, Nicholas Morales as well in fourth position in that yellow car, looking very close. He could absolutely threaten the top 2. Let's just have a quick look. He also has the youngest tires out of everybody in the top 5, so he could definitely be a threat. He's got plenty of boost as well, too, and he's going to make use of that boost and that DRS, and he's going to take that third place position.
Yep, I don't think Nicholas Carrasco is going to have an answer to that. Very little in the boost tank, and of course no DRS, as he was too far back off the tail of Johan Demier. I still reckon Demier is in with the best shot here, mainly based on the fact that still has a completely full boost bar to use.
Hasn't touched it.
That's incredible. He's in second. He's done the same amount of pit stops as everybody else. Pretty much followed the same kind of tyre strategy as everyone else, and remains. Yeah, that boost has remained, unless it's broken, unless maybe he's dropped the battery out when going around the track. But either way, you should have a full boost tank to use. Carrasco's staying right with Morales. He will have DRS, but that's one thing Demier and Morales won't have to use. Is anyone going to be using any boost down the main straight? No, not this time around. I am anticipating Johan Demier to just absolutely light up the timing screens on the last few laps. That's what I think he's holding onto his boost tank for. Carrasco is, well, I'm not sure he's going to have an answer left at this stage, but you never know. But Cabanez has got that big train behind him of Daniel Thomas, Kevin Gonzalez, and Nicholas Coleman. That's a fair amount of chasing cars he's got to keep him company. Then Peter Mann in 9th. Has got positions right down to 12th, and there's Chandler again. It's a shame that he wasn't able to convert his impressive pole into a strong victory. He's had 3 stops. He's been through the pits 3 times. It's once more than everybody else. A big shame, but it's a long season ahead. Anything can happen. And as now Johan's using his boost. He's got the Sector 2 best time. Now he's just basically dumped the battery to get in DRS range. As we have, 4 laps to go, now Navarro is going to be under pressure.
That is a scary time. A 125.1, 2 purple sectors as well from Johan Demier. And also, worth pointing out, Cabanes in 5th position is our other Spanish manager. So actually, both Spanish managers are currently sitting in the top 5, which is would be a fantastic result for the country of Spain. And as you mentioned, Carrasco doing a good job of keeping up with Morales. I don't know if those two are really going to be involved in the battle for the lead of this race. I don't know if they're really going to get themselves involved with Cesar Navarro and Johan Demier, but I think they'll have a pretty good scrap on for themselves. Let's see if Johan uses some more boost to try and close that gap down. It's tantalizing. It's 1.2 seconds is the gap between Navarro and Demier as they round the final corner. He's not going to get close enough as we cross the line to start lap number 27. About 3 laps remaining in this first race here in Australia. And Peter Mann, actually, one of our 2 British managers, has actually just overtaken Nicholas Coleman. He's up into P8, so that would give him an increase in championship points. And Chandler, worth pointing out, currently in P10, would pick up some points despite missing the start of the race, so that would be truly fantastic for him. But wow, it is very, very close behind Coleman. You can see these 4 cars, Coleman, Saita, Insaurralde, and Navarro, very, very close to one another. And Chandler's actually using some boost, and he's gotten past Coleman as well, too. So Coleman losing 2 positions in 1 lap. That's got to hurt right at the end here.
Yeah, there's positions still to be decided, and the lead Navarro, Cesar Navarro, has actually extended the gap up front. Now as Demier he hasn't quite dumped the battery, I think. Oh no, I think he has. He's dumped the rest of the battery to try and close that gap down and get away from Nicholas Morales.
So I wonder if he cooked his tires. He might have overheated his tires pushing to get that fastest lap. I can only hypothesize on that, though.
I mean, it was a full second quicker than he's done this time around, so that is a completely fair analysis, I think. Although we are seeing some 25s on the board from Peter Mann and Chandler Sita, for instance, but they're a little bit further down the field. But I think Demier is, as much as he's tried to charge on to close that gap down, I think unless Cesar Navarro's car has an unfortunate incident, the momentum very much swinging in his favour. That gap is just increasing lap on lap, and Navarro still has a little bit of boost left to use as we come through the final few turns to start the final lap.
Yep, Demier has definitely cooked his tires, I think, because he's actually starting his 12th lap on this set of tires. So a 12-lap stint on a set of softs. So that's definitely not ideal, and that is going to allow Nicholas Morales to just cruise on by, take that second place position. I think Demier has enough of a gap down to Carrasco in 4th position, so I don't think he's going to come under too much threat. But we do see a debate going on for 5th position that is very, very close between Cabanes and Thomas, and you can see they're just trading back and forth with what little boost they still have remaining. Does Felix have any boost? No. It looks like Felix is going to come out on top, and we are going to get 2 Spanish managers in the top 5 as they make their way down towards Sector 3 now on this final lap. But it is going to be Cesar Navarro of Argentina who is going to come across the line and claim the first victory in AOR IGP. Then it's Nicholas Morales in 2nd position, Demier in 3rd, rounding out the podium, and then Carrasco in 4th, Cabanes in 5th. Daniel Thomas, our oldest competitor, in 6th position. Solid points for him. Kevin Gonzalez, with that alternate strategy, started on medium tires, and he made it work. I got to say a shout-out to him in 7th position. Peter Mann, the leading British manager, in 8th position. And Chandler, our youngest manager, in 9th. And Jose Navarro, who you could say was almost the favorite as the leading qualifier coming into this, rounding out the top 10. Autosport pretty far back, we have to say. We did mention these are competitive guys that we're pitting Autosport against, so they shouldn't feel too bad about themselves. But you guys at home, you can help Autosport become better because they are asking for help on social media and all of that stuff. So be on the lookout for tweets from them, articles, all that kind of stuff where you can leave comments, send them tweets and tell them what they should do better in order to be more competitive in the AOR IGP League. So they are relying on you guys. They're relying on the kindness of strangers there in order to continue to improve. So make sure you guys check out Autosport and make sure you guys are giving them great advice on how they can improve and pick up some of that time. My personal recommendation here, Chris, qualify on softer tires. Get yourself up a little bit further up the grid. Get yourself stuck in that traffic. Get yourself some DRS and all of that kind of stuff. And hopefully they'll be a bit more competitive next time. But huge congratulations, of course, to all of our competitors. That is going to do it for the first ever Apex Online Racing IGP Manager race. What did you think of that, Chris? Was that a pretty close race? Were you liking that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, look at the gaps in between each car when they crossed over the line. You've got to go right the way down to Thompson in 14th before you have a gap over 4 seconds. Mm-hmm. So that was absolutely great. Very well played by our drivers. And Cesar Navarro stealing the fastest lap on the final one with what boost he had left. But there's so much strategy. I mean, it's easy to overestimate just how much thought and strategic planning goes into something like this. It might look quite simple from a spectator standpoint, mm-hmm. but there's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of planning. You can't just go absolutely gung ho and then worry about it later. I think it's rather what happened to Demier somewhat. Just had nothing left towards the end and lost out as a result. Yep. And as you say, the second Navarro brother that's was the firm favourite, finished down in 10th, so the strategy didn't quite play out. But that was so close for so long for so many drivers. That's what we love as commentators. And I imagine that our competitors have enjoyed that as much as we have. So that was absolutely fantastic, and we look forward to the remaining round.
Thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolute pleasure. Chris was filling in today for Ali Kidd, who will be joining us for next week's race in Malaysia. But we may see Chris in future races. We never know. We'll see what happens as far as scheduling and stuff is concerned. But make sure you guys tune in next week, 7:55 p.m. UK time. Same channel here on Apex Online Racing at the YouTube. We're going to have highlights going up on the IGP Manager YouTube channel as well, too. You can expect those later this week. Next week is going to be Malaysia, and really looking forward to that one. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.